empty canvas, Jeffrey Epstein's early life in Coney Island and his brief stint at Cooper Union and Current Institute present a puzzling blank slate. He possessed a sharp, intuitive grasp of mathematics, but no degree, no published work, no traditional credentials. This very lack of a paper trail, however, made him an ideal asset, a man with no official history to contradict a manufactured one. His first significant entry into the elite came not through finance, but through education, landing a job teaching physics and mathematics at the prestigious Dalton School in Manhattan. This was his first mysterious leap. How does a college dropout secure a position at one of New York's most exclusive private schools? The answer lies in the school's parents. A roster of Wall Street titans, media moguls, and old money heirs. Yet Epstein wasn't there to teach calculus. He was there to audition. His classroom was a showroom for his unique talent, making complex systems understandable to the wealthy, while identifying and charming their vulnerable children. The Bear Stearns. Crucible, the first silent hand. The hand that guided him from the classroom to the trading floor belonged to Alan Ace Greenberg, the legendary CEO of Bear Stearns. Greenberg, a maverick known for hiring unconventional talent, brought Epstein on as a junior assistant with a nebulous portfolio. But this was no ordinary apprenticeship. Epstein reported directly to Greenberg, bypassing all normal hierarchies. His formal title was meaningless. His real function was that of a social and intelligence scout. He was given a single and extraordinary mandate: to identify and cultivate relationships with individuals possessing ultra-high net worth. He was not to be a trader, but a relationship broker. Bear Stearns, under Greenberg, was aggressively pursuing private client wealth. Epstein, with his peculiar charm, mathematical fluency, and lack of scruples, proved naturally gifted at this. He learned the mechanics of finance, but more importantly, he learned the psychology of plutocracy, the insecurities, the vanity, the secret needs of those who have everything, the mysterious source of capital. By the mid-1980s, Epstein left Bear Stearns and announced the formation of his own firm, J. Epstein and Company, claiming to manage money for clients with a minimum of $1 billion in net worth. This is the central, as unanswered question of his early rise. Who were his founding clients? A man with no track record, no family wealth, and no visible investment pedigree does not simply open his doors to billionaires. The seed capital and, more crucially, the credibility had to come from somewhere. This is the first point where intelligence community theories gain traction. Epstein's firm was not a traditional hedge fund. It was a discrete interface. Speculation, supported by former associates' accounts, suggests his initial roster may have included funds linked to offshore entities connected to intelligence slush funds, wealthy individuals with intelligence ties, such as the Saudi Adnan Khashoggi or figures from the Iran-Contra milieu, European old money families seeking deniable American investment channels. At his black box investment strategy, claiming astonishing, consistent returns while revealing nothing, was perfect for clients who valued secrecy above all else. The fall of a titan and the rise of an heiress. The 1991 death of Robert Maxwell was a seismic event in the shadow world. The brute, corrupt media mogul was a prolific agent of influence, working simultaneously for Mossad. He is often described as a super agent, MI6, and potentially others using his publishing empire for intelligence gathering and propaganda. His death, officially an accident, left a power vacuum and a trail of financial ruin and state secrets. His daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell, arrived in New York socially radioactive but crucially, carrying the residual access of her father's black book and the implicit understanding of how the intelligence finance nexus operated. The merger of talents. Epstein and Ghislaine's meeting was not romantic serendipity. It was a corporate merger of dark arts. Epstein had the financial scaffolding and American connections. Ghislaine had the European aristocratic and intelligence pedigree. Together, they offered a complete suite of services: financial facilitation, social entree, elite procurement, and intelligence gathering. Their base of operations shifted from New York to a more strategic location, London in the mid-1990s. London, the Rothschild Theater. This is where the connection moves from circumstantial to concrete. In London, Ghislaine was in her natural habitat, the world of Mayfair, Knightsbridge, shit in country house weekends. It was here that Epstein was introduced, through Ghislaine, to the innermost circles of European aristocracy and finance. The key entrance point was Eva Anderson Dubin. After her relationship with Epstein ended, she married Glenn Dubin, a Harvard-educated hedge fund manager. Dubin's career was skyrocketing, thanks in large part to his partnership and mentorship under Sir Evelyn de Rothschild. Sir Evelyn de Rothschild, the godfather of the city. To understand the magnitude of this link, one must understand Sir Evelyn. He was not just a wealthy banker, he was the chairman of N.M. Rothschild and Sons, the embodiment of the family's British financial power, and a confidant to the royal family. He was close to Queen Elizabeth II. He was a pillar of the British establishment. Glenn Dubin's firm, Dubin and Swiecka, had a deeply consequential relationship with Rothschild. Sir Evelyn didn't just invest, he provided Dubin with crucial credibility and access. Therefore, Ava Dubin, Epstein's former lover, was now married to one of Sir Evelyn's key American protégés. This created a permanent, intimate channel between Epstein and the Rothschild Power Center. The nature of the service. Why would Sir Evelyn or any Rothschild utilize Epstein? The family's own banks were and are legendary. The answer lies in the type of work: sovereign wealth and deniable finance. Epstein could interface with controversial regimes, Middle Eastern kingdoms, post-Soviet oligarchs, or individuals, dictators, sanctions-busting entities, in ways a regulated, reputation-conscious bank could not. He was a cutout, a scientific and intellectual scouting. The Rothschilds have a centuries-long history of funding and directing cutting-edge science, from eugenics to genetics to environmental engineering. Epstein, with his professed love of science and his later funding of transhumanists and genetic research, through his donation to MIT and Harvard, and his association with figures like Stephen Hawking and Marvin Minsky, could act as a talent spotter and funder for Rothschild interests in shaping future technologies. The Black Book as an intelligence asset. Epstein's meticulously maintained records of global elites, their travel, their preferences, their secrets, constituted a private intelligence database of incalculable value. And for a family that built its fortune on receiving information ahead of the markets, the Rothschild courier network, famously learning of Waterloo's outcome before the British government. A modern, compromat-laden version of this system would be a logical evolution. Documented links, more than social flight logs. While Rothschild names appear sparingly compared to others, their presence is telling. Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, who would marry Sir Evelyn in 2000, is listed. Her introduction to Sir Evelyn was orchestrated by Henry Kissinger, a frequent Epstein associate. This is not a coincidence. It is evidence of a shared social operational universe. The Black Book lists multiple Rothschild numbers and addresses, including Sir Evelyn's London office and his country estate, Ascot. These are not publicly listed numbers, and they are private lines. The trust nexus. Epstein's primary financial vehicle was the Financial Trust Company in the Virgin Islands. This entity interacted with the Rothschild Trust Company in Gibraltar, a legitimate but ultra-discreet wealth preservation firm used by global elites. The connection is structural, not social. Little St. James, the island fortress. The acquisition of Little St. James was the culmination of Epstein's strategy. It was a sovereign territory, a physical manifestation of his lawlessness. The extensive security, the temple-like structure, the isolated location. It wasn't just a pleasure palace. Former staff have described extensive server racks and monitoring equipment. It functioned as a data harvesting center and a compromat production facility. The underage girls were not just for abuse. They were the bait and the mechanism. Powerful men were filmed, recorded, and compromised in scenarios designed for maximum blackmail potential. The Wexner Enigma. Leslie Wexner, the founder of L Brands, Victoria's Secret, was Epstein's only publicly acknowledged financial benefactor, granting him power of attorney and transferring over $500 million in assets and properties. Wexner has claimed he was befuddled by Epstein's actions. This defies belief. Wexner is a ruthless, detail-obsessed business genius. The more plausible explanation is that Wexner was using Epstein as a deniable conduit for his own complex dealings, potentially including the Russian oligarch money that flooded into New York real estate in the 2000s. Wexner's board and social circle included Rothschild-linked individuals, creating another feedback loop. At the 2008 non-prosecution agreement, the power shield in action, when Epstein was first investigated in Florida in 2005 to 2008, the result was a testament to the network's power. The NPA, orchestrated by Alexander Acosta under mysterious pressure from above, was a legal miracle for Epstein. It shut down a federal investigation, granted immunity to co-conspirators, and was kept secret from victims. The speculation about who applied this pressure is telling. Names like Alan Dershowitz, who socialized with the Rothschilds, Prince Andrew, deeply connected to that world, and vague references to intelligence assets all point back to the same transatlantic power axis where the Rothschilds are central fixtures. The 2019 arrest, takedown, or cleanup. Epstein's arrest in 2019 was unprecedented in its publicity and severity, but he was immediately denied bail, highly unusual for a non-violent offender, even one with his wealth. The media storm was instant and global. This has led to a compelling theory. Epstein had become a rogue asset, a liability too great to manage. His recklessness, combined with the hashtag #MeToo movement, made him a ticking bomb. His arrest may have been a controlled demolition designed to contain the blast radius and protect the wider network. His job was to go to jail and be silent. The death in cell 107. His death, whether suicide or murder, achieved the network's ultimate goal: silence. It permanently sealed the testimony that could have traced the flow of money, influence, and instructions to their ultimate sources. The bizarre breakdowns in protocol at the MCC, the strangely coincidental camera failures, at the removal of his cellmate, all point to an operation, whether internal to ensure his suicide or external to eliminate him. The post-mortem paper trail, recent leaks and unsealings, 2022 to 2024. The ongoing release of documents is not the revelation of truth, but the managed disclosure of a narrative. The Maxwell trial documents. They meticulously detailed Epstein and Maxwell's crimes, but pointedly stopped at the level of operational foot soldiers. The names of powerful clients and enablers were redacted or absent. The J. Doe depositions. Unsealed testimonies describe being trafficked to European royalty, a foreign prime minister, and a well-known American financier. The descriptors are tantalizingly close to known Rothschild associates, but are legally insulated from direct identification. And the focus on John and Jane Does. The legal strategy has been to keep the spotlight on the victims and the immediate perpetrators, Epstein, Maxwell, while the ecosystem that enabled them, the lawyers, the bankers, the intelligence facilitators, remains in deep shadow. The Rothschild silence. The family's response has been a masterclass in power. Zero engagement. No lawsuits, no fiery denials. Only a terse, years-old statement from a spokesperson. They understand that engaging legitimizes the inquiry. Their strategy is to outlast the news cycle, as they have outlasted empires. The tools of perpetuity. The Epstein-Rothschild nexus reveals the modern tools of the unaccountable power, the intergenerational trust, the ultimate firewall. Assets are placed in South Dakota, Gibraltar, or Nevis trusts that are legally impenetrable and surviving for centuries beyond the reach of tax authorities or civil lawsuits. Philanthropic whitewashing. Vast foundations. Rothschild foundations are among the world's oldest and largest. Create a halo effect. Funding museums, universities, and environmental causes. Making critique seem like an attack on civilization itself. The social capital shield. Influence is exercised through networks of boarding schools, clubs, and intermarriages. A directive is never given. A suggestion is made over dinner at Ascot or in the grill room of the Garrett Club. The intelligence finance fusion. Epstein's model is the future. Private family offices now routinely employ former CIA, MI6, and Mossad officers. Their job is not just security, but competitive intelligence, influence operations, and reputation management on a global scale. That the next ghost in the machine. Epstein was a model, not an anomaly. The next iteration is already operational. Look for the crypto esotericist, a figure in the decentralized finance, DeFi, or cryptocurrency world, using technological obscurity and libertarian ideology to create new, unregulated channels for moving wealth and influence. The biotech visionary, an entrepreneur at the nexus of genetics, AI, and life extension, funded by old wealth desperate for immortality, and operating in the ethical gray zones of international law. The media disruptor, a platform owner who controls not just content, but data on the emotional and political preferences of billions, offering targeted influence as a service. Conclusion: the mirror and the abyss. The story of Jeffrey Epstein and the Rothschilds is not a conspiracy theory, and it is a case study in systemic corruption. It demonstrates that at the highest levels, the distinctions between finance, intelligence, politics, and crime dissolve. Epstein did not infiltrate the elite. He was a symptom of its true nature, a nature that prioritizes the preservation of power above all else, including the rule of law. The recent leaks are not the key to the vault. They are the ventilation system, allowing just enough steam to escape so that the pressure does not blow the door off entirely. The real vault, the one containing the trust agreements, the meeting minutes, the records of clandestine transfers, remain sealed in jurisdictions designed for permanence. The ultimate lesson is this: we are not looking at a crime story that needs solving. We are looking at a power structure that needs comprehending. Epstein is gone. The Rothschilds remain. Their banks remain. Their trusts remain. Their silence remains. And in that silence, the system they represent, a system of offshore capital, legal impunity, and socialized risk, continues to operate untouched, waiting for the next useful ghost to rise from the shadows of our world and do its bidding. The game never ends. The board is the globe. The pieces are lives and nations. And the players, as they have for 300 years, sit in the quiet rooms of history, moving them in the dark.